I'm very pleased right now to have one of the actors who was part of the searches, Patrick Wayne, son of the legendary John Wayne. How are you doing today, Patrick?
I'm great, Mike. Thanks for inviting me on. It's nice to be here.
Okay, it's good to have you on. Now, when you were making the searchers, you were a relatively young man.
I was 15.
Yeah, but yet you played a Union officer. I always thought, you looked a little bit older than you were back in those days, I guess, huh?
I was tall, and that was about it. I played a graduate of West Point in a film called The Long Gray Line 2 years earlier. So I grew tall fast, but I was young.
So, okay, when you were making the searches, did you feel you were making history, or were you just making a movie?
I basically was visiting with my dad. I had and my godfather, who was the director, John Ford. I had at that time 3 siblings, and basically getting an opportunity to work with my dad meant that I was, I had him exclusively. I wasn't competing with my brothers and sisters' first company, so that was always good. You never know when working on these films. I don't think anybody thinks they're making history. You just go out and do your job and hope for the best. You can put all the great ingredients together, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. In the case of The Searchers, even at the time of the release of the film, it wasn't a critical or box office success. And it was some generations later when film students at USC like Coppola, Scorsese, and Spielberg fell in love with the film, and it became a cult film and evolved into a very popular film, which is on one of the 100 best westerns ever made. But we didn't, when it first came out, share that kind of experience.
But nonetheless, you knew it was directed by John Ford, so it was something special.
Oh, always to his group, and and as history will prove, I mean, he's got a body of work that's pretty tough to compete with.
Now, how did John Ford treat you? I mean, because it's a little bit of a delicate situation. You're not just an actor.
John Ford had the reputation of being tough on everybody, my dad included. He was very, very smart, very intelligent, acerbic wit, and used it like a rapier with everyone. I was spared that pretty much all my life. But, given his reputation, you're always waiting for the other shoe to fall. And so you're on your toes, you're being alert, and you don't want it to happen. The only time he was ever sarcastic with me was we were flying somewhere, and I was playing gin rummy, and I thought I was pretty cocky, and I thought I was a great player, and so I thought to myself, well, I'm just going to let this guy win because he's whatever, and that was a big mistake because at the end of the game he says, from now on, just play with Ward Bond. That was his answer to my letting him win. So.
Now you made a couple of TV shows with John Ford, which not that easy to find anymore. But he must have thought a lot of you to make. In effect, you were baseball films.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was his favorite. I really was, and he was a rare director on television. And so his two directorial things, both baseball stories, and I was lucky enough to get to do those.
And of course, the co-stars on those TV shows, one was your father, and the other one was Jimmy Stewart.
That's right. Well, the one that I did that my dad appeared in, he was I think he played an ump he was a reporter, I think, yeah.
Yeah, and Ward Bond was in it.
He made and he made a guest appearance on one of them. It seems, and he had the screen credit of Marion Morrison.
Okay, and let me ask you, the first one, Rookie of the Year, or whatever, that must have been made very close to the time you made The Searchers. I mean, a lot of the same people are in the cast.
Well, you can go through the history of his films. He had he had a stock company that he used time and again in many, many films. But yeah, it was right around that time. What was fun, my dad, who actually appeared on the cover of Time magazine prior to that, and when they shot the Rookie of the Year, they had a flash of me on the cover of Time magazine, which was used in the film, in the television film, and so we got a copy of that, and my dad in his office had his picture on the cover of Time framed, and then right next to it was a picture of me on the cover of Time magazine, which was, not really true, but it was kind of nice.
You made about 10 films with John Ford, and counting the TV things. I know some of them you were just a kid in the background. What was your most memorable performance with John Ford, the one that you like to look at?
Well, I had to say The Searchers. I mean, I love the film, and it's a very strange or unique character for my dad to play. He from early on decided that he was going to not stray very far from the character that he established. He thought the audiences wanted him to be a certain character. They wanted to see John Wayne as John Wayne, this heroic figure. And so that's what he decided to do, whether it was right or wrong. But he really moved away from that in the Searchers, and was a pretty mean, nasty person, basically all the way through the film until, of course, he redeems his character in the end by scooping up Natalie Wood and bringing her home rather than killing her.
Do you know who won the Academy Award that year in 1956?
Good God, no.
Yes. But, I mean, that's probably one of the great sins of Academy Award winners. It was Yul Brynner. And
yeah.
And for the life of me, how anybody could pick Yul Brynner over your father in that film is beyond me. I mean,
well, he wasn't
I don't know.
Even nominated, was he?
He wasn't nominated, no. But, I mean, it's unbelievable to me. You know, how could you watch The Searchers? And I really shouldn't knock Yul Brynner. I don't mean it that way. But his performance certainly wasn't the equal of your father's in The Searchers. In fact, it's very hard to find anybody who is the equal of your father in The Searchers. You know, you got to put it up in the top 10 of all time, I guess, as male performances.
It's pretty good. I don't even know if it was my dad's performance, his best performance. I guess everybody has a favorite, and it's it's anecdotal, it's subjective. But a film that I thought my dad probably, for me anyway, really is just in pure acting and development of character and human character. You rarely saw was the Shootist, his last film, which was a tough film for me to look at for many years. It was so close to reality, but he really had a fleshed out character in that film, very well developed character with vulnerabilities, and you didn't see that very much.
We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes on Ask the Lawyer with Mike Connors. Welcome again to the Connors Corner segment of Ask the Lawyer. With me right now is actor Patrick Wayne, and previously we spoke about his role in The Searchers, but he's also involved in charity, and one of the charities involved in is John Wayne Cancer Institute. What is it, at St. John's Hospital?
It's at Providence St. John's Health Center in Santa Monica, correct.
What is the John Wayne Cancer Institute?
Well, this goes back some 35 years, say. Yeah. And when my father passed away, when he was actually in the last weeks of his life, the team of doctors at UCLA had approached him with a new type of cure for cancer, and they wanted him to go on this trial. And he said, "Hell yes, I'll do it. And if it works, I'm going to help you in any way I can to advance the cause of cancer research." Well, he didn't make it, but my brothers and sisters and I thought, as a legacy to him, we would try to do everything in his place that we could to advance the cause of cancer research. And I honestly think that we started without any expectations. We teamed up with the doctors who had run the trial, Dr. Don Morton, and began this cancer clinic at UCLA. And I'd have to say, first off, we never had any notion that my father's popularity and celebrity would have lasted as long as it did. I mean, almost 35 years since he passed away, his popularity and resonance is as strong as it ever was, and that has helped us, in this thing. We've gone through several evolutions. We started at UCLA. We moved to the St. John's Health Center in Santa Monica about 20 years ago, and just recently, the St. John's Health Center was purchased or transferred to Providence Health Center, and we're very excited about this new evolution because the people at Providence, they really understand what we do. They're very keen on cancer research, and they have the wherewithal to make it really something big. We've done some amazing things over the years in terms of cancer research. We have a fellowship program where we take surgeons and make them cancer surgeons, and we're one of 16 sites in the country that is now certified to train surgeons. And so it's been quite a progress. We've made quite a lot of progress. My brother started as the chairman when
Which brother was that?
This is my
Which brother was
Michael.
that? Michael.
Michael, yeah, and he passed away in 2003, and then I took up the reins as chairman for the last 11 years, and now I've got my son Michael on the board of directors. So we are in this generationally, and we're going to stay with this until we find a cure to cancer.
Okay, now if the audience, if they want to find out more, if they want to make a donation, how will they learn more information about the organization?
Well, they can go to our website, the John Wayne Cancer Institute website, but we're basically in Santa Monica, 2200 Santa Monica Boulevard, Santa Monica 90404.
Now, I saw on the website or whatever, you have a True Grit Award each year?
This year, the award is being presented to the Nelson Mandela family, and unfortunately, Nelson has passed away. But a few months ago, we went to South Africa and were able to take some videos, which will be part of the tribute. And his family is joining us. 3 members of his family are joining us tomorrow evening to accept the award.
Let me ask you, you talk about the popularity of your father today, and I think I understand it. When you watch an old film now with your father in it, what's your reaction? Because it's different from you. We're seeing a great personality, great actor. What are you seeing? Let's say when you see your father on one of those old films on TV.
Yeah, I would say it's a little more complicated than that. Of course, I have in many cases memories surrounding the films. Things that happened during the filming, if I was involved with it or if I visited him. And, I'm seeing not just John Wayne the actor, but John Wayne, my father.
And I just can't conceive of, how that would be, to see a relative. Do you like to watch yourself on film? I know some actors don't like to see themselves. I
would have to say it depends on the film, but I certainly enjoy watching John Wayne films. And it's amazing. I mean, I can put a film in and see my dad as if he were just alive and strong today as he was 50 years ago. What's
your favorite memory, personal memory of doing a film with your father?
Really a lot of fun, and a great memory for me was a film, Big Jake. My father was in the film. My father, my older brother produced the film, and my younger brother Ethan was also appearing in the film. So it was a family project, and for 3 or 4 months we were all together, and just a great, warm experience.
That would make sense. I don't know if you remember, but a few years ago you were at the Ukrainian Institute and you were selling some memorabilia, and you also were raising some money for the John Wayne Cancer Institute. And I had 3 of my Ukrainian employees with me, and they weren't quite sure who you guys were, so we bought a couple of copies of Big Jake to give to them so they could
great.
get it, because your brother Ethan was there, and obviously you were there, and as usual, you were very charming to the ladies.
Oh, great! Yeah. That's great. Well, I hope they enjoyed the film, and I was just trying to think. Okay, yeah, that's right. We had the all of the memorabilia set up at the institute, at Ukrainian Institute. Yeah. Okay, I remember that now.
Do you have a few minutes more to talk about your career? We have to take a break, though.
It'll only take a few minutes.
No, it's going to take more than that. But you're listening to Ask the Lawyer with Mike Connors. My guest right now is Patrick Wayne. We'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome back to the Connors Corner segment of Ask the Lawyer with me, Mike Connors. My guest right now is Patrick Wayne. We've been talking about the John Wayne Cancer Institute, named for his father, John Wayne. We're talking about some of the films that Patrick made with his father and John Ford. What we haven't talked a lot, and we talked a little bit about it, Patrick, but your own career, are you doing anything right now as far as acting is concerned?
When when my brother passed away and I took over the reins at the Cancer Institute, I had no idea how involved I was going to be with that. It's become a full-time job without pay, of course, but it's very time-consuming, and I'm loving life. Really, it's been a great process, and we're doing great things there. So I'm excited about all the time that I spend there, and what great work it's been doing.
So would you ever get back into acting? Is it ever a possibility?
I'm not out looking for work, but if someone were to come to me and say, I have a project I'd like you to be involved in, and it's going to go from this date to this date, I would definitely jump at the chance. I love the work. I love working in films, but to be out there looking for work takes a lot of time and effort, and I'm really spending my time in a different way, which is very gratifying, very rewarding.
Now, after you did Big Jake, which was kind of a fun movie, I would assume that was a little bit of a box office hit, maybe not, blockbuster.
And it's actually a very tremendous success in television. It's one of the films that plays continually and has great success in television.
Yeah, it's a good, fun movie, and there's a place in this world for that. Now, after that, you made a couple of movies. You went a little bit into sci-fi and some other things. Can you tell us a little bit about those and what it was like working, let's say, with Doug McClure on, the People That Time Forgot, or The Land That Time Forgot?
People That Time Forgot. Before that one, I did the Sinbad film, and really a very gratifying experience. In the Sinbad film, basically most of the action scenes were done in pantomime. They were all choreographed and required us to work in very tight, confined parameters, because they're going to later add the effect, the animation or whatever you want to call it. So it was it worked out very well, but it was a different kind of experience. The film with Doug McClure was great. He's a great friend of mine. Was a great friend of mine for many years, and it's always great to work with people that you know and love.
Besides the John Ford films, besides the films with your father, what are some of your favorite films that you acted in? The two films I just mentioned were a couple of great ones. Another really fun experience was Her Alibi, which is a film I did with Tom Selleck. I played his brother, and it was a great cast, great people. Got a lot, did great acting jobs, and then there were great people to be with when we were not filming. Now, would you want your son to be an actor?
I've got 3 children, 2 bankers, and 2 lawyers and an investment banker. They all were around the business and did a smattering of it, but their careers went in different directions.
Do you have any regrets about being an actor?
None, absolutely not.
You did make about 40 films, and I think some people might.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, and any idea how many TV shows you've done?
60, I don't know. A lot. 90
Yeah, a lot.
commercials. Worked in several theater productions as well. Run the whole gamut of that business.
Okay, so if anybody there wants to see a little bit of Hollywood history, I suggest you take a look at The Searchers. You were in The Quiet Man for a little bit too, right?
Yeah.
Cheyenne Autumn.
Cheyenne Autumn. That was the last film I did with Mr. Ford.
You called him Mr. Ford.
No, I called him Uncle Jack, but
you called him Uncle Jack. Okay, I was just curious.
People wouldn't know who I was talking to.
And of course, you made some, McClintock and Shenandoah and a lot of those other films. So there's a body of work there, and 50, 60 years from now, people are going to still see you on the screen. And
it's pretty amazing.
It is, and you're going to be part of film history. Nobody can take that away from you. And of course, everybody's going to remember your father for 100 years.
Amazing. I'm amazed by it, but I think you're right.
Okay, well, thank you very much for being with us tonight, Patrick. All right, are you coming to New York anytime soon?
In October.
Oh, what are you going to be doing here?
So the Fashion Footwear of New York, Fanny, it's called. It's Breast Cancer Month, and they do a big program to raise money for cancer research, and they get these shoe designers to donate their shoes, and they sell the shoes at reduced prices, and all the money goes to cancer research. And the John Wayne Cancer Institute has been the beneficiary of this for 12, 13 years. And so we go back and support. They have a big gala, and we always attend and give back and receive.
All right. Well, maybe we can make some contact, and I'll have some people show up there that night.
Okay, that's great, Mike.
Hope you guys are around. Patrick, listen, thank you. Pleasure talking to you. Was it like it was the first time?
Nice talking to you, and nice hearing your voice again.
All right. Take care.